Good morning, everyone. This is the third session of our Creative Writing Masterclass. In our last session, we received thousands of correct answers for all the questions during our session, and really hope you all enjoyed the session a lot. Today, we have an even more action-packed interactive session, and the instructor for today's session will be the same as our last session, Mrs. Sonia Bareja. A quick introduction. She's a professional storyteller and has been teaching creative writing for the last 10 years. Having interacted and taught thousands of kids, she will help us in learning to exercise our creativity to write poems, explore our ideas, and express our thoughts better. We'll request parents and guardians sitting with our little students to help them put any questions or comments that they have during the session in the chat box. It will just help our instructors to speak with the students better. We will start with a quick recap of our last session, which can help kids recall what all we did. So without further ado, let's start with our session today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome you all to yet another fabulous Sunday morning. I hope I have most of my children who attended last class are here with a lot of new ones also. But for the benefit of all, like Himanshu said, let's quickly do a recap of what we finished and we covered in the last session. Well, in the last session, we talked about poetry, and poetry. We started with structures of poetry, where we talked about what's a line break, how a poem is always broken into stanzas. It could be one stanza, two stanzas, and multiple stanza poem. We talked about how a poem usually and mostly has a rhyming scheme or rhythm or repetition, because of which it gets rhyme or it gets a rhyming scheme. Then we went on to talk about the elements of poetry, where we talked about imagery, that how a poet has a liberty and a freedom to use words that evoke our five senses, which are your sense of smell, sense of seeing, sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of touch. And this, by using this as a tool, it's called imagery. Then there are other elements where the poet uses alliteration, the poet uses personification, metaphors. I hope you remember these words. And if I may ask any of the participant who was there last time to feel free to write, for the benefit of everybody, what do they remember, what alliterations were, what is a personification, what is a metaphor. So I can give you a quick clue that if I say sweet Sonia, that's my name, and if I put a prefix to it like a sweet Sonia, so the phonic of the two neighboring words becomes same, and that's what makes it an alliteration. Personification is when there is the inanimate object is compared to a humanly qualities. That's personification. If I can request somebody to give me an example in the chat, that'll be great. Metaphor, if anybody remembers, put it on the chat, where there is no direct comparison. Himanshu, please keep an eye on the comment section, where these children, I'm sure, will be writing the quick examples. And then we also talked about simile, which was a comparison where we use the words as or like. Again, students can feel free to write examples in the comment section. We also talked in detail about how the imagery evokes the pleasure of reading the poem, and it makes us feel that we are traveling with the poet in the places there where he or she wants us to travel. So we broadly covered the structures, elements, and the language of poetry in class 1, which was very organized. And therefore, in today's class, we are going to use everything that we learned in the previous class to apply in today's class, which means that in today's class, we are going to learn how to write poetry, and not just one type of poetry, but 4 to 5 types of poetry. There are multiple types of poetry genres that exist in the world. But in today's class, we'll spend time to learn at least 4 or 5 genres of poetry writing. And imagine after today's class, you'll be pro in writing those 4 or 5. But for writing those 4 or 5 genres of poetry or poems, you'll have to help me a lot, because we learned the elements of poetry, we learned the structure of poetry, we learned the language of poetry. आज की class में we will be applying those learnings that we did in the last class. So if you allow me and if you're ready with your paper and pen, we'll start with today's class. And as usual, as always, feel free to write whatever comes to your mind as a question, understanding issue, whatever. Just tell me in the chat box. And Himanshu will let me know and we will take that question. The first in the category is called a couplet. The poetry genre or the style is called a couplet. Now, couplet comes or originates from the word couple. And a couple means pair, two. So the simplest definition of couplet is a poem or a poetry that comprises of at least two lines which rhyme with each other. Now, it doesn't mean that a couplet can be only two lines. A couplet can be 2 lines to 200 lines to 2000 lines also. There are poets who have written thick books of couplet, where they're like 200 couplets, 400 couplets, 600 couplets, or 2000 couplets. But the basic criteria is that two neighboring lines rhyme with each other because their last word, just before the line break, the last word rhymes with the last word of the next line. The most easiest way to remember a couplet is from our nursery rhymes. I'm sure all of us being here today would have heard of this example that I have written. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. So if you can see, diddle and fiddle are rhyming. Now, I'm going to give you an example of another couplet which doesn't have 2 lines but has more than 2 lines. So listen to that carefully and then we'll get into an exercise. It's a couplet about a seed and the poem title is A Little Seed. It goes like this. A little seed for me to sow, a little soil to make it grow. So sow and grow rhymed with each other. A little hole, a little pat, a little wish, and that's that. So pat and that. A little sun, a little shower, a little while, and then a flower. So if you heard me correct, 2 lines rhymed with each other. So there are total 6 lines in this poem and 2 lines in pairs rhymed with each other. I'm going to read the poem once again in full length. A little seed for me to sow, a little soil to make it grow, a little hole, a little pat, a little wish, and that's that. A little sun and a little shower, a little while, and then a flower. So if you have understood what is a couplet and how do we write a couplet to make it impressive, to make it nice to read or write, let's do this exercise. I'm giving you a word which is the last word of the first line. I want you to attempt to write a couplet. The word is cat. So start writing in your chat box or comments.
Right. So students, the word is cat and come up with any examples of couplet that you can think of, any rhyming example. And please put in the chat box. There is no right and wrong. And I'll keep sharing with Sonia ma'am so that we all know. So Simran Devi is saying, my cat is very small. Muhammad Anas is saying, the cat is playing the violin.
No. Hold on, Himanshu. Hold on. Children, I said cat is the last word of first line. So your first line should end with the word cat. And therefore, the second line should end with a word that rhymes with cat. I'll give you an example. The example is, I like to play with my cat. My first line is, I like to play with my cat. My cat likes to hide in my hat. So cat and hat rhyme with each other. So the
a lot
last,
of students are now
getting it. It's okay. So you can just read it out. Yeah.
Vidya Gurus said the cat, my cat is like a rat. Rajati Karthikeyan is saying cat and mat. Amita Sharma is saying cat and hat. So kids also make try and make a sentence out of it. So yeah, Sheikh Gohar Hussain is saying there is a cat. It is on my mat.
Wow, that's like good. There is a cat. It's on my mat. That's your couplet. Now you can build more lines on this, Sheikh, and make a nice 10-line poem.
Yeah.
So can we have one or two more before moving to the next style of writing?
Sure. Abdul Rakib is saying, I have a pussy cat and the cat is very fat.
Yeah, that's like good. That's nice. So you're understanding how to write couplet. So when you understand how to write a couplet, feel free to write as many lines, but the rule is the neighboring two lines should rhyme. And therefore, a couplet will always be in even numbers. The lines in a couplet will always be an even number. You can never have a 13-line couplet or an 11 lines couplet. It will always be an even lined poem. There'll be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So quickly, can we have one more?
Yeah. So, so I have a cat and it's wearing my hat.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I have a cat which is also my pet.
Okay, so, cat and pet does not rhyme.
Yeah.
You could say, I have a cat I like to pat.
Yeah. Right. So a lot of students are giving this. All right.
Great. So that means that we have understood how to write couplet. Now don't leave it here. Whatever you have attempted today with cat, you could make it to at least 8-line poem or a 10-line poem. Or I could give you another word and you can attempt it at home. Write a couplet with the last word of the first line as season. Okay? You could just do it for yourself, show it to your mom, show it to your dad, or show it to your teacher. It will be a good, handy way to practice how to write a couplet. So now let's move to the next genre, which is again an interesting and an age-old way of writing poems. It's called acrostic. Now, acrostic is a very interesting way of writing poetry. But before that, let me ask you if any of you have ever attempted to write adjectives against your name. So, for example, my name is Sonia, which is spelled as Sonia. And if I were to use describing words, which are called adjectives in English grammar, against each letter of my name, then if I use those adjectives and write them vertically, instead of writing my name horizontally, if I write my name as vertical, Sonia. Like if you can see the screen, and if you can see there is winter written in vertical form, winter. But don't look at the screen as of now. Think of or imagine your name and write it vertically, Sonia. And against each letter, if I were to ask you to write an adjective that is describing you and your personality. So if I were to think of my name, I would say from S, sweet, and from O, I'll say optimistic girl, sweet and optimistic girl. From N, I'll say nice. I'll say intelligent. And from A, I'll say adorable. So if these are the adjectives that I'll put against my name, I'm already pro in writing an acrostic. But this is just writing acrostic words. Now, when you convert these adjectives into phrases, now if you can see on the screen that what is written as winter, winter, and if we use each letter to find or to give us a phrase, and like that we write a phrase for each letter, that becomes our acrostic poem. And if you could read, if I could just read that explanation, which says uses the letter of topic word as the first letter for each line of the poem. So, for example, if winter has 6 letters, then our acrostic poem will be for 6 letters, 6 lines. because each letter will give us a line or a phrase or even a word. And then remember, the rule is that each line will correspond to the topic, which means that if we have chosen the word or the title as winter, then whatever word or phrase we choose against each letter will be related to winter. And acrostic does not have to rhyme. It really does not have to rhyme. Quickly, let's read and then do this as an exercise. It says, winter, W, winter wonderland. Ice is slippery. Nothing is hot. The weather is cold. Everything you touch is cold, really cold. So if you noticed that we used the word as vertical, that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is that the first letter of each word, first letter of the poem is the first letter of the topic. So W is the first letter of the first line, I is the first letter of the second line, and so on, so forth. Third rule is that each phrase corresponds to the topic, is related to the topic. And the fourth rule is, do not try to make acrostic rhyme. If you have any question for acrostic, please feel free to ask me, because now we'll be doing the exercise. Just put your questions in the chat. If you don't have questions, my question to you is, write down your name, whatever is your name. Like I told you, my name is Sonia, so I'll write Sonia as vertical, and then I'll write a phrase. So please attempt to write an acrostic using your name as the topic. Let's have some answers in the chat.
Yeah, a lot of students have already given answers, Sonia. So Aryan Das, Aryan. Aryan is first given as acrostic. A for aggressive, R for roaming, I for intelligent, Y for yesing, A for adorable, N for not negative. So,
nice. So Aryan, can you now attempt to convert these adjectives into phrases? Maybe just 2 or 3 worded phrases so that it looks like a poem. Yeah. Someone who has attempted to write the adjectives should attempt now to convert those adjectives into phrases.
Yeah, so a lot of people have actually attempted to write the acrostic. So Vidya Guru is given great, unique, rose-like umbrella for Guru. Tahasin Siddiq has given sensitive, intelligent, daring, imaginative, quiet. A lot of interesting and innovative suggestions, but kids try to make a phrase out of this.
Yeah, try to make a phrase. Otherwise, I'll give you another word and another topic if you have attempted to do it with your name. My topic to you is father. So guys, today is Father's Day. Most of us celebrate Father's Day by giving roses to our fathers or flowers, or gifts to our fathers. It will be a great opportunity for you to make a card for your dads. Write the spelling of father as vertical, F-A-T-H-E-R, and write a phrase against each letter from F-A-T-H-E-R. And I'm giving you a minute here, or maybe 30 seconds. Quickly, if people can help each other and give phrases against each letter. Can we have some of the phrases against father?
Yes, kids have started typing in. But write the full phrase, kids, not just the words. Like you can write a full phrase from F. Right, so let's say, for example, if F is friendly, then you can write a phrase with the word friendly.
Yeah.
Right, so Gaurav Pawar is given, Muhammad Anas is given.
Can we read some of the answers?
Yeah, so actually, kids are still giving words. Anjali Sharma has also given words, but kids, just try at least one phrase with any of the words.
Can I just give you an example, like how you can make a phrase with F? You can say, use an adjective as fabulous or fantastic. Fantastic in whatever he does. 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 Fantas So from F, your phrase will be fabulous in whatever he does, or fabulous in all the ways. So that could be your first line of the poem. Now make it from A.
Yeah. So as you were speaking, Sonia, I think a couple of people have given phrases for F already. Friendly father, fabulous father.
Great.
So yeah, I think kids, you're getting it.
And you have used alliteration here. Very nice. Fabulous father. That's nice. That's nice.
With A, Adishri Chauhan saying amazing as always.
Super. Very nice. Give me one with T. Anybody?
Yeah, with Mohammed saying adorable father with A. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's Dikshita Barua saying active father. So yeah, let's move on. And
anybody with T? Anybody with me?
Yeah.
I could, Tell me.
Firoz Akhtar is saying teaching father. Okay.
Teaching father.
Terrific father is what Kirat is saying. Kirat is saying.
You could even say a simple thing there for me. Somebody who wrote, fabulous father, adorable, there for me always. So it's nicely making your poem that your fabulous father is adorable and is there for me. So you could use and is as the last word of the previous line. So T could be simply there for me or teaching me or whatever. Great. Let's move to H. Give me a phrase from H.
Yeah, so Ishu Sarita is saying helping me always.
Very good.
There is hero of my Kamal Mahajan is saying hero of my life.
Yeah, I was about to say that we always look up to our dads as hero in our lives, so we could use the word hero. Or some people also look at fathers as head of their family, so you could even use as head of our family, whatever comes to your mind. But that's great. So anyone with E now, we are nicely approaching towards E. So I'm happy that we are understanding acrostic really well. So give me a phrase with E.
Yes, Ritisai K is saying emotionally always there for me.
Very nice.
E. Very nice, yeah. Encouraging father is what Asma Jabin is saying.
Yeah.
Energetic.
Yeah, energetic. Or expect nothing from me, or expect a lot from me if your dad expects a lot from you, whichever way. So these are the nice words. Now quickly give me something from R so that we can move to the next topic. Anybody with R?
Right, kids. So Meenakshi Chug is saying respectable.
Yeah.
Okay. More responsible father is what Mamta Dharmendra is saying.
Yeah.
All right. Reliable is what Anika Sharma is saying. Let's try and Mohammad Anas is saying rockstar. Vidya Guru is saying role model for me. Very nice.
Very nice. Rockstar, role model, respectable, really there for me. You could even use simple words like really there, or you could say ravishing hero, whatever, if you want to give nice jargons in your poetry. But I'm glad that you have understood the rules of writing an acrostic. Now again, do not leave it here. Use it and make sure that you practice it with more words, because these two are the most easiest yet very impressive way of writing poetry, couplet as well as acrostic. So please practice it with at least one or two more words. I have given you to write it with father so that you could give it to your fathers today as a gesture. You could use mother as a word. You could use summer, which is the season of the year right now. So you could use summer or winter or spring, any season, and make an acrostic poem using that as a title. Or you could even use teacher as a very important header, and then make an acrostic using the words or the letters in teacher, T-E-A-C-H-E-R. Write them vertically and make phrases against each letter. Is there anyone who has a question? Else we move to next. But before we go to the next, I will have a question to ask you regarding a quiz, regarding the topics that we just covered. So quickly write in the chat box the answer to question number 1. What is an acrostic poem? Option A, 5-line poem. Option B, a poem in the name of someone's name. Or option C, a poem in which the first letter of each line forms words or messages relating to the subject. Let's see who has the right answer.
Yeah, so there is Adishri Chauhan who's saying C, Abhijit Korochek is saying C, Balambiga Ramachandran C, Adishri, all of like a lot of people are saying
C is the correct option. I'm glad that my children have got it. Quickly, next question. What type of poem is known as unit of verse consisting of 2 lines that usually rhymes? Option A, line. Option B, verse. Option C, couplet.
So there is Sabari Vishal saying C, Yad Vinder saying C.
That's absolutely correct.
Art is saying
round of applause. Good. So we are now pro in writing a couplet and writing an acrostic. Now, let's move to our third genre or third style of writing poems. Imagine a life where there were no rules. As children, you were not told to follow rules. There was no bedtime. Schools were to happen in the evening rather than early morning, and mums would give desserts before dinner. Life would be so different and so more pleasant, maybe, because who likes to follow rules? This is what exactly happens when we talk of free verse. Free verse is a poetic style, or where the poets do not use any rule. There are no patterns, there are no rules to be followed, no rhyme scheme to be followed, and there's basically nothing. Whatever comes to your mind, you just write it and call it a free verse poem. It could be short, it could be long, it could be 2-liner, 4-liner, 5-liner, 20-liner, or any topic, on any theme. There are no set number of lines, there are no set number of stanzas, or there are not even stanzas in free verse. You could choose to just write whatever comes to your mind as a free verse poem. Now, for example, there is one that I will do here to tell you or to explain to you how do we write a free verse poetry about any chocolate or chocolate kiss or chocolate smoothie, chocolate shake. You start with, say, brown, silver foil, smooth, silky, sweet, chewy, gooey, it's tempting, delicious, it's melting in my mouth, I like the teardrop, I like it a lot. Whatever words comes to your mind, you don't have to go as per what is written on the screen, and you could just use whatever comes to your mind as adjectives, as alliterations, as imagery, as simile. Make sure when you write a free verse, you use the elements that we have learned in the poetry. Like in this, you have seen that the poet has used a lot of adjectives. A lot of times he has used imagery, like when it says tempting, chewy, suddenly you have the taste of something chewy and gooey going into your mouth. Now, if you have understood, because this is the most easiest way to write a poetry, quickly, let's attempt to write a free verse on, let's say, a simple topic, nature. Can we attempt to write free verse on nature? And just give me a few lines in the chat box, if you could just give me.
Sure. So kids, we have to write a free verse on nature, like the example that we gave. So a lot of, Sonia, just for reference, a lot of kids are giving examples of chocolate, like Achut Art is saying, I love silver chocolate, it melts in my mouth when I eat it. So yeah, I mean, let's try a free verse with nature.
Yeah, because chocolate is right there on the screen for everybody to use the reference. Let's just have few lines from our children on nature. Just give me like 3-4 lines by one child. If you could just give me like 3-4 lines.
Yeah, I think kids have just started attempting.
Yeah.
So Arihant is saying aesthetically beautiful nature. Nature is very beautiful. Simran Devi is saying. So let's try and attempt full lines.
Maybe 4 lines, maybe 5. Let's say just at least 5 lines. And remember to use at least one alliteration or a personification or a metaphor or a simile in the whole poem. But remember, no rhyming scheme, no paragraph, no stanza, no line, nothing, but just 5 lines maybe or 4 lines.
Siddharth SN is saying nature is our mother. If nature is green, we will be there on earth.
That's nice. So nature is like our mother. Very nice. So that's a personification. Good.
Nazima
and like
Pathan
also is simile. So great.
Yeah.
Yes, Manshu.
Nazima Pathan saying nature is my best teacher. Let's try and attempt some more lines after this. It'll become really nice, interesting.
Yeah. So these are
nature
good lines.
is. Yeah, Ritisha is saying nature is like trees as big as seas.
Nature is like trees as big as sea. Very nice. So she's very nicely used simile as well as personification. Very nice.
Yeah.
Because trees are living and nature is compared with trees, and she said like, she used the word like in comparison. That's a simile. Maybe make use of imagery. When the poets write about nature, they use a lot of imagery. Nature mein pani ki awaaz, water, the sound of the waterfall, or the sound of the breeze, or the touch of the windy breeze. Use these kind of words to write your free verse.
Yeah. So Gitika is saying nature is very important in our lives. It's a God's gift, gives us oxygen without any greedy. So we need to protect our greenery.
Yeah.
Achant is adding, I think, really interesting.
Nice lines.
Add on to
Very
each
nice.
other's.
Very nice. That means that they have understood, these children are, grasping what does it really mean while writing free verse. So imagine you're given a genre of poetry where you don't have to burden yourself that I have to rhyme, I have to use a rhyming scheme, or I have to use repetitive words, or I have to always find something which has a rhythm. This is such an easy genre to write, and yet you can call yourself a poet, or you can call yourself that I attempted writing a poem around nature. So at home, attempt to write on what your mom likes to feed you, which are green sprouts. So that will also make you more comfortable writing free verses. So you write a couplet, you write an acrostic, and the third is write a free verse. I am giving you a suggestive topic as sprouts, because every home, moms like to feed their children with sprouts, whether the chana sprouts or the green lentil sprouts, it could be any. So use that as an imaginative topic and write a free verse around that. Should we go ahead? Because now we're going to move to our next genre. Okay. Next genre is even more interesting, where we talk of diamante. Now, what is so special about diamante is it's one of the styles of poetry which falls under shaped poetry, because the poetry is written in the form of a shape, and the shape is that of a diamond. And that's why the origin and the name of the word of this style of poetry is diamante. Diamante. It's not diamante, it's diamante. It's written as M-A, but it's pronounced as diamante. Okay? And like I just said, I'm going to repeat, it is a poem that reflects a shape, and the shape is that of a diamond. Now the question is, why and from where does the shape come from? Very important. We'll spend a little more time on understanding how to write diamante, because couplet, acrostic, and free verse were broadly easy genres, and that's why we started with that. Now diamante is something which will take time to understand and to practice. First rule, we'll have to understand all the rules of writing a diamante. So listen to me carefully instead of looking at the screen for a while. First rule is there are 7 lines in each diamante. So whenever you write a diamante, there are 7 lines. Usually a diamante is an antonym diamante. Now, for everybody to understand what's an antonym, these are the opposite words. So the first line and the seventh line are opposite to each other. They are antonyms to each other. However, some poets also write synonym diamantes, but more famous version of diamante is antonym diamante. So first rule I said 7 lines. Second rule I said line 1 and line 7 are antonyms. Then the third rule, there is one word in line 1 and line 7. 2 words in line 2 and line 6. 3 words in line 3 and line 5. Now how do we remember this? It's very easy. When you write line 1, there's a topic. Then in line 2, you write 2 words which are describing the topic that we have chosen. So line 1 is a topic. Line 2 is the 2 adjectives for that topic. Line 3 is action words. 3 action words for that topic. And similarly, when you move to line 7 is the opposite of line 1. And from line 7, you move to 2 adjectives of the last word. For example, that 7th line will have a word which is the opposite of the word in line 1. So when you move from bottom to top, your 6th line will have 2 adjectives of the word or the topic that you have written in 7th line. Your 5th line will have 3 action words which are called verbs in grammar against the word that you have written in the 7th line. So easy to remember. Topic, then 2 adjectives, then 3 action words. Then we move from bottom to top. Topic, 2 adjectives and 3 action words which are verbs. So we are done with line 1, line 2, line 3, line 7, line 6, line 5. Now only 4th line is left. 4th line has got the maximum letters which are, maximum words which are 4. And those 4 words are 4 nouns. 2 for topic written in line 1 and 2 for topic written in line 7. Let's just understand it with the help of the example written here. Can you read the example? Can you see the example here? Everybody?
Yeah. Everyone can.
So let's just see. The first line is winter. First line, the topic in the first line is winter. So what will be 2 adjectives for winter? I have written here frosty and bright. We move to the 3rd line where I said the 3rd line will be action words, or in grammar they are called verbs. So any 3 verbs for winter will be skiing, snowballing, or snow fighting, or sledging. Verbs usually end with ing, action words, and we wrote 3 verbs for winter. Now leave the 4th line as of now. The next step is to move from bottom to top. We have written winter. We will write opposite of winter as line 7. So opposite of winter would be summer. We still move from bottom to top. Summer. When we move to 6th line, 2 adjectives for summer, which will be hot and sunny. Now what do you like to do when it's summer? Which means 3 verbs, 3 action words. We like to swim, so we'll write swimming. There is tanning that happens, so then we'll say sun tanning. And 3rd, sweltering, again, which is also related to heat, that we sweat, we feel hot. So that's the 5th line. Now coming to the 4th line, which I said has got maximum words, which are 4, 2 nouns for topic 1, 2 nouns for topic in the line 7. So when the first word is winter, 2 nouns for winters will be icicles and snowflakes, or it could be simply snow. Okay? And two nouns for summers would be vacation and family related to summer. Let me know if you have any question because I want to spend some time on understanding Diamante. Anybody has a question on understanding Diamante?
Yeah. Kids, any questions? I think kids have started giving some examples or checking whether they're right or wrong. So like Himam Raja Sharma is saying summer, sunny and hot.
Yeah.
So Danya Erin is saying black, night, shade, sprout.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean kids, if you have any questions, because definitely this is a slightly tougher form of poetry to understand. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write your questions first. And
but also remember that in your classes, you have covered nouns, you have covered adjectives, and you have covered verbs. When we are in class 1, 2, 3, we cover these parts of grammar. We know what are nouns, we know what are adjectives, we know what are verbs. And that's why it's very interesting to write a Diamante. So you would see that it looks like a diamond-shaped poem. And it's very interesting to make Diamantes. You know, when I first started learning how to write Diamante, I would observe around me various things and I would just keep noting on my diary, or I used to carry a journal at that time, and I would write Diamante about everything. Whatever comes in front of me, I would try and write a Diamante. I would try and find out, I would trouble everybody around me, tell me what is the antonym of this, or what do you think can be the antonym of this word. But it's very nice because it also increases your language skill, it enhances your style of writing, it gives you so much in-depth knowledge about adjectives and action words, which are the basic building blocks of English grammar. Okay, now if you have understood, I'm giving you a task to do right now. So take out your pens and papers, or not pens on papers, then write it on the chat. My word and my topic for you, which means I'm giving you the line 1. My line 1 is superhero or hero. You could use hero or superhero. And now, quickly, let's help each other and make a Diamante. So if my line 1 is hero, quickly tell me what will be my line 7. Write in the chat, what will be line 7?
Yeah, kids. So yes, you're right. So people are typing in hero. Hero is the line 1.
Yes.
The word in line 1, which you can see on the screen. So topic 1. Line 7 has to be the opposite of it. So like Sai Khote is saying villain.
Very nice.
Veena Prakash is saying villain.
Absolutely. Villain is the right answer. Villain is the right answer. So we have got line 1 and line 7. Now quickly help me finishing line 2. Line 2, as you can see, is the 2 adjectives for hero. So quickly give me 2 adjectives for hero.
Right, kids. So line 2, I think a lot of students, more than 100 students have said villain. So a lot of students have got that.
That's absolutely correct. So we are now on line 2.
Yeah.
So line 2 is the 2 adjectives for hero.
Yeah. So Sheikh Govardhan Hussain is saying great and super.
Great and super. Very nice. Anybody else?
CD Chamba is saying strong and powerful.
Absolutely great. Strong, powerful, great, brave, bold. All these are adjectives for hero. Now moving to line 7. Line 7 is like somebody said villain. Let's attempt line 6 now. Line 6 will be adjectives for villain. Quickly give me adjectives for villain, because in Diamante we move from top to bottom and bottom to top parallelly. That's how we finish Diamante. So 2 adjectives for villain.
Right. So now adjectives for villain, kids. So Rakib is saying bad and evil. Prashanta Siv Gangaran saying rude.
Very good. Bad, evil, rude.
So Chamba is saying dark and heinous.
Dark and heinous. Good words. And we can even use mean. Yeah. So these are a couple of examples. So your line 1 is done. Line 2 is done. Line 7 is done. And line 6 is done. Now we move to line 3. Line 3, like I said, is the 3 action words, which are your verbs. So line 3 will be verbs, 3 verbs for topic 1, and line 5 will be 3 verbs for topic 2. So let's finish the line 3 first, which is action words for hero.
Yeah, so daring, aggressive, fighting is what Anjali is saying.
Fighting, aggressive. Aggressive will be more like an adjective. We can't use aggressive as a verb. Verb is what does he do? So he fights, therefore you write fighting. He sometimes, remember, think of Spider-Man or a Batman. They also fly. So you can say flying.
Yeah, Adishri is saying helping, caring, respecting.
All correct. All correct. Because he helps, helping. He cares, he's caring. He saves, saving. So these are the 3 action words for hero. Now quickly give me line 5, which is the action words for villain.
Sure. So kids, now we are on line 5, action words for villain. As you gave action words for hero, now please give action words for villain.
Yeah.
Right. So Shafi is saying fighting, killing. All right. Yeah. More discouraging is what Ambika is saying.
Okay. We can take discouraging, fighting, killing, because villain also fights.
Yeah. Vidya Guru saying irritating, destructive is what Chamba is saying.
Well, destructive is not action. Destructing can be action.
Yeah.
So most of the time, villains also steal. So you can write stealing. They also rob. So you could write robbing. They fight, fighting, killing. They also always hurt either the other characters or the main character. So hurting. So very good. These are all great action words. Now we are left with only 4th line. Line 4, like I said, has 4 nouns. 2 for topic 1 and 2 for topic 2. So let's choose 2 nouns for hero. Quickly give me 2 nouns for hero.
Yeah, strong and dangerous is what Sanjeev Sharma is saying.
Yeah. Super, strong.
Yeah, shady is what Anika is saying. That could be for the villain, I think.
Yeah, shady is always used for dark shades or negative characters. You could use evil. You could even you can write a word that we use while we write stories, antagonist. So antagonist is a word used for villains, and protagonist is a word used for heroes. But more or less, all are correct, whatever you said. Now, if you have got this on a piece of paper, you would have finished writing a nice diamante. And if you can just look at it closely, it must be also looking like the shape of a diamond. So it will be an interesting way to write a diamante. Like I've given you topics, suggestive topics for each genre. My suggestive topic for you to now attempt it at home right after the class is sun. So your line 1 will be sun, and then you will attempt to write line 7, then line 2, line 6, line 3, line 5, and finally line 4. Are we good to go? Has everybody understood how to write diamante? And is everyone geared to practice diamante at home? And if the answer is yes, let's move on to the next genre. Maybe you could write a thumbs up in the chat if you're good to go. Let's move to...
Yeah, a lot of kids are saying yes. So yeah.
Very nice. Let's move to the next genre, which is my personal favorite, which is called a limerick. Now, limerick is you could just feel that the spelling says that it is lime-rick because L-I-M is pronounced as lime. But in poetry, the word is one and we say limerick. Now, limerick, why is it my favorite? Because of various reasons. A, limerick is a humorous poem. It's a poem where you use humor and fun. It makes you giggle. Most of the time when you read limericks, you feel happy and you feel you start to giggle. But limerick is not free verse. There are rules when you write limerick. Now, the rule number 1 is that it's a 5-line poetry. When you write a limerick, it's a 5-line poetry. Line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. So there can't be 4 lines or there can't be 6 lines. The second rule is that limerick follows a pattern. It follows a rhyming scheme. And the rhyming scheme is A, A, B, B, A. All my children who had attended my previous session would know what I'm talking about. But for the benefit of everybody, let me tell you what A, A, B, B, A means. Rhyming scheme of A, A, B, B, A means that the first, second, and the fifth line rhyme with each other, which means that the last word of line 1, line 2, and line 5 has a rhyming word in the end. And the sound of that word or the phonics of that word is same. And line 3 and 4 rhyme with each other, which means that line 3 and line 4 has a similar sounding word as the end of these 2 lines. These are the only 2 rules that we follow, and our limerick is ready. Rule number 1, 5 lines. Rule number 2, rhyming scheme of A, A, B, B, A. Nothing else. And your limerick will be ready. You can pick up any topic or anything and you can write your limerick. I have an example right in front of you on the screen. There once was an ape in a zoo who looked out through the bars at you. Do you think it's fair to give poor apes a scare? I think it's a mean thing to do. So this is a very simple limerick written. And if you could notice, both the rules are fulfilled. It's a 5-line poem. And if you see, the first line ends with zoo, the second line says you, and the fifth line says do. So zoo, you, do. Phonics of these syllables are same. And if you look at third and the fourth line, fair and scare, the phonics is same. So just remember these 2 rules and your limerick is ready. There is a very famous poet, Edward Lear. Edward Lear has written many limericks. So you could open your English literature books. I'm sure there'll be at least one limerick by Edward Lear in English textbooks because his poetries have been there in all literature books. I could now ask my children to give me 5 lines as a part of one limerick. Quickly, because we are running short of time, so this is our last topic, but let's quickly attempt to write a limerick. Can we have children helping me or helping everybody to attempt a limerick? Let's help each other. First line, anybody can give first line?
Sure. Kids are saying they're ready. Do we want to give them like a topic or a word?
In limerick, there is no topic. You just have to write first line. Whosoever will write first line, or should I give you the first line? Okay, my first line is, there was a lady whose chin. So I've given you first line. There was a lady whose chin. So your first line's last word is chin. Now remember, your second line has to end with something as chin, sounding same. And the fifth line also has to end with the same sound like a chin.
Yeah. So there was a lady with chin. Yes, Geeta Gautam started this. So that's correct. Now give us the second line, which ends with something like chin. Yes. Shiny skin is what Simran Devi is saying. She had a very
shiny skin. Very nice. Now move to the third line. And third line could have any other word. But remember, the third line's last word has to rhyme with the fourth line's last word.
Right. So Arun Francis has rhymed it with the second line only. He's saying always used to be very thin.
So that could be our fifth line, Arun. Let's use it as a fifth line. So there was a young lady with whose chin. What was the second line? Himanshu? Gauri or something.
She had a shiny skin.
She had a shiny skin, and somebody gave a fifth line with thin.
Yeah. Yeah, she always used to be thin.
So now we are left with only
Bhavika
fourth and fifth line. So fourth and fifth will have to have some other word which will rhyme with each other.
Adishri is saying she used to have a cat.
Yeah.
Right. So what could be the fourth line rhyming with cat?
She used to have a cat who would play with a rat. Or who would play on a mat.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
C.P. Chamba is said a very similar thing, but
but that's how you attempt poetry. That's how you attempt to become a poet. Because these are all the beginning level poetry, and trust me, even the greatest poets use these 5 genres. Couplet is used by your greatest of the poets. Limerick is used by your big greatest poets, and so is diamante, and so is your acrostic, and so is free verse. There are poets who have mastered the art of writing these 5 poetry. So I would suggest after today's class, don't even think of the 6th genre or 7th style. Practice these 5. I'm sure we will get more opportunities to learn more styles. So before we go further, let me quickly ask you a few questions. Use chat box or comment section to write the answer. A diamante is option A, diamond-shaped poem, 7-line diamond-shaped poem, 9-line diamond-shaped poem.
Right, kids, please type in your answers. You can give options A, B, or C as the answer to the question that is there in front of you. So Kavitanshik Sharma is saying B, Geeta Gautam is saying B, Geeta Bharti is saying B.
B is the correct option. Let's quickly move to the next question. A 5-line poetry which is humorous and usually have last line with a punch, or in a limerick, a poet also uses, I've given you the answer to this because this is also another thing which is important for a limerick, that you finish your last line with a punch. So the answer to this question is limerick. Okay?
Yeah, a lot of kids are saying A.
Yeah. So I think that's where I would like to end today's session. And any question, feel free to put it in the comment section. If you're not able to take it today, I assure that we'll do it. We'll answer them somehow. Or any comment, anything, feel free to write. Himanshu, over to you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sonia. So kids, any questions that you have, please feel free to write in the chat box. Anything that is not clear, maybe you can take like 2-3 questions in the last 2-3 minutes. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, everyone's saying thank you. Really enjoyed the session. Great. Really hope that you would be able to practice with whatever Sonia has been able to give you right after the class. It will be really helpful for you to learn and remember what we just discussed. So any questions, kids? Diamante, Aryan, yeah. So the Aryan just wanted to confirm the answer or what Diamante is.
Are you asking me?
Yeah. I mean, if you could just maybe explain.
Yeah. So quickly, diamante is a 7-line poem which resembles the shape of a diamond. That's why it's called diamante. So 7 lines is very important. Line 1 and line 7 are usually opposite to each other. Line 2 has 2 adjectives. Line 3 has got 3 verbs. Line 6 has got 2 adjectives for topic 2, which is the word in line 7. Then line 5 are the 3 verbs for topic 2, which is your line 7. And rest, we are left with line 4, which has got 4 nouns, 2 for your line 1 and 2 for your line 7.
Great. Thank you, Sonia. So, yes. I think almost got everyone saying thank you and they really enjoyed the class. Thank you everyone for coming in for today's class. We have our next session lined up, same time next Sunday, that is 11 a.m. next Sunday. Really hope to see all of you there. If you have any questions around this class or while you have attempting the assignments, then please do note your questions and ask us at the beginning of our next class. Hope everything was really fruitful and have a very good next week. Take care. Enjoy.
Make sure you visit us next week because we have something even more interesting at the end of next class. So the next class is really interesting that we have planned and chalked out. So see you and see all your friends next Sunday, same time, like Himanshu said. And are we good to go, Himanshu?
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.